7 phrases to gain the upper hand over a manipulator. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. You may be watching this video because you're a regular viewer of my work. Thank you for continuing to do so. You may be recently new to my work, and if so, welcome on board. Here you will find the world's best resource of information about narcissism and psychopathy, because I am a narcissistic psychopath and I share this information. You might wonder, why would you do that if you are what you say you are? Well, watch my video, Why Am I Doing This? And it will give you the answers to that particular question and more. One of the aspects that arose from when I started this work all of these years ago was because there was so much misinformation about narcissism. That actually offended my innate need for control. Not only was it the case that there was information that was missing, but there was a lot of information that was quite simply wrong. It was inaccurate. It was based upon misunderstandings. It was based upon what people thought was the case or would like to be the case, only for them to realize, once they'd accessed my work, that that's entirely incorrect. And so often I have come across work which has been provided by supposed relationship gurus, by individuals who are life coaches and relationship coaches, and even those that work in the field of psychotherapy and psychology that get it so wrong about my kind. My kind are inherent manipulators. The vast majority of narcissists don't know what they are. A smaller number have knowledge as to what they are. But the vast majority do not. And if you were to ask them, are you manipulative? They will invariably deny that, because denial is the first line of the twin lines of the narcissistic defense. To suggest that the narcissist is manipulative is to threaten the narcissist's innate need for control, so they will reject it. Often, when people are talking about manipulators, they're referencing narcissists and sometimes psychopaths, but narcissists are far more prevalent. And a common theme is whereby supposed experts provide information to enable you to gain the upper hand over that manipulator, or in other words, the narcissist. And I came upon such an article which explained that manipulators thrive in the grey areas of communication. They twist words, that much is true, exploit empathy, absolutely, and create confusion. Absolutely correct also. Invariably, this isn't done with brute force, but it's done with emotional finesse. But apparently, certain people don't fall for it. They recognize the subtle signs of manipulation and respond not with aggression, but with calm, boundary-enforcing phrases rooted in psychological self-mastery. Apparently, the tools aren't comebacks, but rather tools of emotional intelligence, self-awareness, and control. Thus, this article was providing you with the equipment to gain the upper hand over a manipulative narcissist. It fails. It fails because it fails to understand what makes the narcissist function. It fails because it doesn't understand the dynamic of the narcissist. For instance, the first phrase that was offered is, "I'm not comfortable with that." Apparently, this phrase sets an immediate psychological boundary without aggression. It's a quiet but firm refusal to be pushed, guilted, or coerced. Apparently, it works because instead of getting defensive or offering a long-winded excuse, they simply state their discomfort. It will then shut down the manipulator's attempt to override their autonomy while signalling emotional maturity. Well, I can tell you now that such a phrase isn't going to work. The narcissist doesn't give a rat's ass for you signaling emotional maturity. It doesn't matter. The fact of stating you are asserting a boundary without aggression doesn't matter. When you say, "I'm not comfortable with that," the narcissist will either seize upon that as fuel because you are providing a response and revels in the fact that you're not comfortable. After all, the narcissist doesn't have any emotional empathy for you and therefore doesn't care about your comfort, save where it serves a purpose for the narcissist. Furthermore, the suggestion that you're not comfortable threatens the innate need for control that the narcissist has, which means, as is the knee-jerk and instinctive response of that narcissist, your threat to control must be nullified. Accordingly, this article suggests that if you say, I'm not comfortable with that, you're going to disarm the manipulator. I can tell you now you're not. First of all, you're feeding fuel because you're interacting with the narcissist. Thus, you are giving the narcissist what he or she wants. And secondly, you are likely going to be threatening the narcissist's need for control, which means the narcissist isn't going to shrug and go, oh, okay, you're not comfortable with that, fair enough, end of interaction. They'll provoke you in order to get you to back down, to bring you under control. And all that will happen is, by issuing this phrase, you're giving the narcissist fuel and you're provoking the narcissist, which means that the narcissist will lash out at you. To suggest that this is a phrase that will give you the upper hand over a manipulator is entirely incorrect. Similarly, the second phrase, that doesn't work for me. This is described as the ultimate power move disguised as politeness. It avoids conflict while making it clear that your needs matter. Your needs are irrelevant to the narcissist. You can go on about how much your needs matter as long as you like. The narcissist doesn't give a fig. Furthermore, the suggestion that it is a power move disguised as politeness doesn't matter. You're fueling the narcissist once again, and you're threatening the narcissist's need for control. Another failure. The article provides an example in context. Manipulator, I already made the plans, so you should come. You, that doesn't work for me. Simple, confident, final, except it's not. Because the narcissist will lash out at you. Why doesn't it work for you? You need to make it work for you. You need to do what I require. No, I'm not going to do that. Ah, the awful word no. It's still fuel for the narcissist, but is a threat to control. Simply stating, that doesn't work for me, is not going to stop a manipulative narcissist in their tracks. And yet this article, apparently written from a psychological point of view, would provide that. It won't. The third phrase, let me get back to you on that. Apparently, this works as a consequence of taking a beat gives you room to reflect, consult with others, or just gain emotional clarity. Really? That depends if the narcissist will allow you to do it. Again, you're giving fuel to the narcissist, but if you stall the narcissist will press you because it's a threat to control. When are you going to get back to me on that? I need you to deal with it now. No, you can't do that. We need to sort this out now. You'll provoke the narcissist further. The fourth of these sorry phrases is, what exactly do you mean by that? Well, you might as well go and get a toasting fork and jab it into the side of the narcissist if you think that you're going to do that. The article explains that mentally strong people don't let vague manipulation slide under the radar. They call it out, gently but directly. Well, you can call it out all you like. You're continuing to fuel the narcissist, and you're questioning the narcissist. Questioning equates to a threat to control, and therefore, just because you're seeking further particularization doesn't mean you're going to get it from the narcissist that takes refuge in vagueness. What do you exactly mean by that? You should know what I mean by that. After all, the mindset of the narcissist is that you ought to know the way that they're thinking and what their needs are. You should have a telepathic understanding in that regard. If you fail to understand and have to ask, what exactly do you mean by that? That just reinforces in the mind of the narcissist that you're an idiot and an awful person. The fifth phrase. That sounds like your responsibility, not mine, which the narcissist is just going to interpret as you shirking your responsibilities and blame shifting onto the narcissist. This offends the narcissist's need for control. Yet again, you're giving the narcissist fuel, but you're threatening the narcissist's need for control. And therefore, it's suggesting that guilt is a manipulator's favourite tool. It may well be. But mentally strong people handing it right back, no, you're not. Just because you say that sounds like your responsibility, not mine, does not mean that the narcissist will turn around and go, oh, right, yes, you're correct, so it is. They won't. They will fight against your threat to control. Number 6, I'm not going to argue about this. Apparently, mentally strong people don't engage in endless, circular conversations designed to wear them down. Well, that's true. They ought not to do so. But stating, I'm not going to argue about this, is once again just waving a red rag to a bull. All you'd be better off doing is simply walking away. Not only will this wound the narcissist, but it means you're not getting drawn in further to the interaction with the narcissist, with the manipulator. Telling them, I'm not going to argue about this, is tipping the narcissist off. It's threatening their need for control, and the narcissist is simply going to respond by causing an argument, because that's what the narcissist wants. Again, just because you say, I'm not going to be arguing with you about this, your wants and desires are irrelevant. They come way behind that of the narcissist. The final suggestion that's made by this unfortunate article is, we can talk when you're ready to be respectful. This apparently is a psychological mic drop. It shifts the entire power dynamic. No, it doesn't. Because when this is done, all you're going to do is once again threaten the narcissist, because you're suggesting the narcissist is being disrespectful. And either the narcissist does not believe that they are, and therefore cannot countenance your suggestion, or if they believe that they are, it's merited because of your behavior. Once again, it's far more effective just to remove yourself, to apply the principle of go so. You shouldn't be continuing to engage with a narcissist. And it's certainly the case that the 7 phrases that this article provides are not going to give you the upper hand over a manipulator. They're going to draw you into an ongoing conflict with a narcissist that thrives on the necessity of seeking control, and will do so in order to cause you to submit. Your interaction, your words, your tone, your body language, look on your face, your facial expression, they're all providing fuel to the narcissist, which is what the narcissist wants. The narcissist is winning. Continuing to engage with the narcissist increases your emotional thinking, which means you're less likely to secure an outcome based upon logic. Furthermore, all of these phrases provoke the narcissist, and the narcissist isn't going to stand back wowed by your sudden demonstration of boundary and power. It won't give you the upper hand. It'll mean that the narcissist will come after you even harder. Once again, this is an article that's written with the suggestion that it is useful and that these phrases are something that you could use with a manipulative narcissist. They are not. When you recognize you're dealing with a narcissist, you obey the first golden rule of freedom. Once you know, you go. You get out and you stay out. And articles such as these just confuse people and cause them to believe that they have an ability to deal with an individual who is a manipulator, which invariably is a narcissist, when it's the most ineffective thing that you can do. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.